on the team. Will the change of story make any difference?
Well, let's see which map we're going to be playing on then. Will it be Oregon? Will I be surprised if it is? What? Oh, Fnatic! You sly dogs! They got coast! Oh, James, they got baited so hard into this.
Yeah,
man.
well, this is a terrifying one. I don't know who to be more scared for right now, because both of these teams are savage on coastline. Let's recall Playday number 1 at stage 2. Fnatic comes out, wipes the floor with Cyclops 7-0, but this is also the map that Xavier took over Giants last stage, and Xavier are crazy in their aggression. What I will say is Fnatic was so good at shutting down that aggression against Cyclops, so if they can repeat that, I think they've got Xavier's number here. But Xavier, it's so difficult to contain them.
This is a crazy one. I mean, Fnatic obviously wanted to get rid of Clubhouse because that is pretty much Xavier's best map. They also had a tough time against them on it last stage. Xavier always banned Consulate and Villa, so you kind of put together the pieces and out you spit Coastline, and I think we're probably in for a good game.
Well, let's see how it goes. From technical map in Oregon, Xavier's playground in stage 2, to Fnatic getting the coastline game that they maybe would have expected the whole time. I'm super excited for this one. So let us toss it over to our casters. Let's go. Flap, all yours.
Thank you for the throw, Milos. I think your desk host might not have been as good as the person before, but maybe that's just a little bit of bias. Hey, we're in with a bit of a storming game here, aren't we, Mr. Happ?
We definitely have a storming game coming up. We have two teams who are quite proficient on a map like Coastline, and knowing it's a frag-heavy map, I think, as just a guess, we're going to be seeing a lot of these crazy frags coming out.
The thing about Xavier on this as well is after watching them at the Major, they can be such a ferocious team, and the games that they were able to put themselves into and really put bodies down and put points on the board were these ones where they lent in full aggro. They were almost taking their opponents and us on the desk by a bit of surprise in their run there. Hasn't quite been as good since they've been starting on this phase, but hey, okay, you're not Oregon 5 times, which was a weird possibility. You're on close. You're on this aggressive map. You're against a great aggressive team, but you got to play your confident game here.
Not just the confident game, but also the cards that you have available to you. And, well, that all starts out with the operator ban phase. As you want to be either choosing to go for comfort bans, which is something you feel uncomfortable playing against, or you want to go for counter bans, something that you know your opponent will be playing on a map like this, and you hope to be hindering their strategy, their setup, and their execute with it. And as the line gets removed, that is telling a lot about the game that Xavier wants to play.
Well, that's the thing about the line removal as well, is, okay, once upon a time, he was the historic removal, you'll get rid of him. Here on Coast, I personally saw it first in NA, but obviously if it was flaunted in other regions, either way, it's a great entrance to Coast, because it's so short, so sharp, so quick to the push and to the punch, that if you're hitting and hammering with a lion, say you're rushing onto Hookah from the balcony, if you're trying to apply pressure onto Aqua 2, and you just have that little bit extra control of those movement angles around luggage, around the kind of cool vibe stairs, where you need a mobile defender, a few seconds of you wait there can really be a make or break. So taking that out in this region where we've seen it played quite a lot, I think it's a smart standard ban nowadays.
I have to say I like it indeed. Also the alibi coming out instantly here to try and trick the members of Xavier, but it might be a 6 pick as it hasn't been locked in yet. So it was a bit of a gamble. And okay, so I have an opinion on this, right?
Hit me with your opinion.
We don't see any 6 pick now.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
Why?
as many bombs as they can.
I mean,
It's not really an opinion, it's more a question at this point.
It's more a question. It's more a question.
Like, my opinion here is, if you have it, always use it, because you're going to be able to throw up your opponent just ever so slightly. Now you're going to be telling them, we're going to be playing these operators, have fun. You know what you have to bring. They have the opportunity to 6-pick if they're like, okay, castle is being brought, we don't have a sledge, you know, let's just pick in a sledge, for example. That's hypothetical, as there's no castle on the board. But now you're choosing to not edit anything, both these teams. And I'm always a big fan of just leaving a little bit of an element of surprise in your lineup of what potentially could be brought in terms of gadgets. in terms of utility.
Yeah.
But apparently these teams not so much so far.
Well, that's the thing about sixth pick as well, is obviously you're talking about the mental game that can be played, that we do see teams play, but it takes the awareness of this is what we're going to play. You don't get long to get your operators on the board, and sometimes when you're in your first round and when you set yourself up, you need to keep that heavy mental game of we're in this to win it, 7-0, let's go, energy is high, because it's coastline. If you don't have high energy, then you find yourself, well, pretty low in the map and pretty low in the rankings and low on the board by the end of it. Here, instantly within the opening 30 seconds, we have bullets peppered through almost every single window and exterior side. Aqua seems to be the point of first contact and control, with Mentalist playing just underneath, and this is the angles and these little short, sharp bits of rotation and control that I talked about before. It's all alleyways. It's the danger donut. There's so many ways to have cross angles across the center, sure, but this catch here and cutting them off in the meantime could be monumental. Can't quite lock the kill, but does get the down on Magnet. Are they aware? Is the big question, and Onigiri is trying to make some work happen on the other side as they bait out Magnet.
Magnet, who's trying to crawl back through the danger donut now. Oh my god, the fucking name, I swear to god. Anyway, he's going to stay in the DBNO state for now, as two team members are looking to sneak over to try and get him, and it seems like DCH is definitely aware of what he just found and will be able to pick up a kill onto Mentalist, while Mag is still down. And it is something monumental to a player like DCH. He will always be repelled up on the security window. He'll always be around here, and he will always be able to pepper shots through. You can just not simply move through that area. As the kill being picked up, a double kill, and that will finish it off. Xavier with a very clean first round after DCH able to get it down and a kill onto Office from just that one window.
I don't want to add fuel to your fire of questions and confusion, but
Okay.
if I'm going to cite that round as Xavier seemingly to have all the intel and awareness, and there was a great plethora and spread of drones littered around the map, to being able to shut that down, do you think a sixth pick could have thrown a spanner in the works there?
I mean, no, not really.
Okay. I was expecting more doubling down on your earlier point.
Of course, like if you're going down into the strategy, into the setups, and in the executes, yes, of course. But the fight basically took place in Sunroom, security, and in Office. They didn't even get close to the site, really.
No, they did not.
As they managed to shut everybody down beforehand already. So in that case, a sixth pick, it won't help you. It's more so for when you're actually coming down to the last 20 seconds, for example. Like, the lineup might not be optimal to deal with whatever utilities on the site waiting for you in that moment in time. And that could be due to the fact that you didn't use the six pick. So that is when it comes into play. Not for the actual gunfights and the way they go, but purely execute-wise.
So if I'm going to talk about the cyclical nature of the Danger Donut and how well the firing lines and firefights work, it is a very well put together tapestry. Usually it's a whole mess of these open angles across the center where you play around the versatility that this square hellhole often offers. It's why it builds into aggression, because it's so quick to be able to swing round, try and apply pinch, and the thing of the loop that the defenders set themselves in, like some sort of chaotic aggressive Mobius strip, means that there's generally always someone watching someone's back. You can set your team up with this cover and set yourself with a lot of map control, which you can't really do on some of the other in our map pool of 7. And here, that first round, Xavier seemed to be able to find that one little weak link in the chain armor that they then pulled apart. Can they replicate it on a different site in a different situation, as Fnatic is not going to opt for the same hold in the same attempt, as instead they bury themselves down and try to cook up a storm in kitchen?
Where will DCH go? Oh, surprise. He's going up on that window again. Like he's never done it before. Has a pre-placed drone in security, and that is the drone that always feeds in the information about whether or not someone will be inside or not. Because right now Lusty and Mag are around in the office. It will be Lusty that gets taken down by Rexon, as he wasn't able to just quite well strafe through that door and get himself into Sunroom. And that leaves Mag all alone right now in office, open and vulnerable to potential people to, well, basically push in from both sides. As DCH is active on the security window again. He's just holding off on the doorways here. He knows techs might be coming through the lobby as they have that one drone active. He's just waiting for now.
Well, caught out by an air jab and caught out by a player as Xavier seems to be a story. Xavier is running aplomb right now. Another one falls, and they're looking towards these open angles as Maestro just pulls out of the situational danger and puts his eyes towards the back of Stigs. Again, the cyclical cover and the nature of how you got to play this is putting Fnatic into a little bit of a tough spot, but Stigs swings around the hard wall and is able to take care of Scatman as the explosions rattle around him. The diffuser is cold, but with a minute 10, plenty of time for Xavier to regroup and recoup himself closer. Onigiri, you are creeping close to Stigs, and Stigs isn't going to have any of it. Swings, but lands no bullets. Gives a slight bit of a game and is concerned about the cover from the opposite side. Bullets over every shoulder, but it's Napier that locks it off down the long corridor. Now, Maestro is being watched on this door, but it pulls away at the last second. Oh no, it doesn't. Napier with a double.
Again, the round genuinely decided onto the battle of Sunroom, Security, and Office. 3 bodies were found there, and the likes of Fnatic all taken down, and Xavier able to just continue what they started. And this is telling me, you know, as a spectator and as someone who had a bit of comp experience, not to the same experience these players have, of course, don't go there anymore. Just leave that whole area. Let them have it. Because it just doesn't bode well for them. It just goes wrong every single time. DCH in that window, no one seems to be able to counter him. And then you're like, well, you can run out, but where do you run out from if you want to be challenging that? I think the only way you can run out from is the actual pool door upstairs, aquarium door. But they have a nomad on the board. So, you know, the odds are that one run out is probably air jabbed off and totally safe for DCH to play on that window.
As I said before, your defense on this map is often a tapestry of finely woven angles and eye holes for defenders to peer through, and it seems like Xavier are painting up a pretty quick story of how they can read that and how they can turn that into round wins on their favor. Every single opener seems to be coming from their knowledge of window placement and how they can apply the pressure to the defenders to force them into confrontation, which has unfortunately generally gone away from Fnatic. The cover is there from air jabs, as you said. It's bringing and it's consistent. It's a good bit of control on this map where you can get big rotations, but it's quick from top to bottom. There's only really a couple of routes all the way around, and yes, there's some chance of aggression outside doors and windows, but it doesn't seem like Fnatic are really playing that too much. They generally lose that opener and then try and stick to their guns and laurels, and unfortunately it's currently sticking them down on 0 rounds.
0 rounds. As they need to push through, they need to get themselves 1 or 2 rounds in. It's hard to say, but definitely the truth. You don't want to be going with 0 rounds on a map like Coastline onto your attack. Even though it is an attack-sided map, you still want to get 1 or 2 of your defense. Maybe even more, just to make it a bit more comfortable. Because Xavier, they seem way too comfortable right now for Fnatic's liking, as they managed to just pick up the kills every single time. And not just 1 opening kill, but they start off with 2 or 3 opening kills before finally Fnatic is able to do something back. And that is basically the big scare they're in right now. It's never just 1 kill as soon as they start coming in. It's always like 2 or 3 before they can even respond.
Well, here comes the longest we've ever had a Fnatic player still standing in the open of a round. Yeah. But Office is where the intense pressure seems to be coming down. They have the pings, they have the catch, and you can see Red Sun wants to apply the pressure onto Sunroom. With a bit of an air jab to keep some control, it's still steady droning. Good work from Fnatic to stay alive this long, but can they try and capitalize it into that golden open frag? There's a lot of concerns for Magnet, who's just going to rotate out, and it's in a way the most passive they've ever really played this side in this hold, and the most isolated we've seen a Fnatic player throughout any of this. Mag, completely separated from the rest of the roster as he creeps his way up the opposite side and up the white stairs, and, well, if he can catch a player of Xavier by surprise here with a bit of a strike around the backside, that could really start to turn the tide on this coastline.
You have to keep in mind, though, there is an air jab in place, and that means if he moves up too far through luggage, he will be blasted backwards as the flashbangs now will be raining in. A new air jab will be deployed as well, it gets eaten up by the ADS, and that means the next one needs to go. And surely soon they want to go for this plant, as a smoke canister will be tossed in to try and deny that from happening just ever so slightly. I'm not sure how many Stigs has left. He should probably have about 2, which is about 20 extra seconds that he's going to be able to stall out this final push from Xavier to come in. There you have another one being pushed in. It's going to be Redson to go down first as Mac manages to succeed on the flank. Get one, take down the drone, and now he will be a ever so slight threat.
As I said, this is going to be the start of potentially something big for Fnatic, and it was just playing slightly away from the course as Tex gets a second, but Napier is able to try and find that spike that's in the Lion's Paw on the backside with quick trades coming out over Hookah. Lusty takes down DCH, and now it's a 3 versus 2 with Xavier still on the back foot and only 20 seconds, and one more gone with Lusty locking it off from Cool Vibes. Napier, you're adrift, you're away from the site, and unfortunately at this point you're out of time and just looking for your exit frags. You get one, you're looking for a second, get two, you're looking for a third, but it's not quite there. Almost a play that went away from them, but Fnatic find their round.
Medix is a true patriot, he is. Shouts, almost pulled a Nello here.
That would...
As,
what? That was against an APAC team, wasn't it? It was against Giants? Wildcard.
Wildcard.
Yeah, almost pulled a Nello.
Almost pulled the Nello. They almost gave it away for free there, Fnatic, as they kept on peeking. They kept on peeking. Don't peek at that moment in time. 10 seconds left. 3v1. No, it's just these little small things that they could be going the wrong way around. And if that would happen, you would not. You know how meta can get it.
I know how meta you get it. That's why I find it funny. Is because even when you're not casting in the other room and you're in situations where it's a 1 versus 3 or a 1 versus 4, you're just going, don't peek, don't peek, don't peek, don't peek, don't peek, don't peek, don't peek. And I imagine that comes...
Even if I'm on my break.
Yeah. I imagine that comes from playing with people like Easy and Medix.
No, you know why? Because I was 1 round away from winning my first and only title. And I was in a 1v2 situation. And I told my teammate, who is Stead, by the way.
Do you want me to put this with like sad music or?
Yeah, you can do sad music. It was Consulate. I was next to the windows in Consulate, and he was in Connector. And I'm like, don't peek, don't peek. 5 seconds left. We got this. Don't peek. We were gonna win. And what does he do? He peeks, and he turns it into a 1v1. And then I die right after. And it's like,
well,
we lost
it's a sad story. This
is why I always say don't peek, because
you know when earlier you were like,
yeah,
I mean you've got bad history there. You know, I come from the UK scene where, you know, we can't not peek. Don't even know how to spell the word.
Peek or not peek?
That's no question. You peek. Well, Onigiri drifting, drive-bying, and try and put bullets towards Lusty. Not sure how aware they were of Lusty's positioning. As I said at the beginning, Xavier's pre-placed drone game seemed to be good at getting control of where they wanted to have those pockets, and it might catch Magnet out here as they fire around Sunroom. Yet again, Sunroom and Office is turning into this little point of confrontation, and they're trying to isolate this one body. But, well, Mentalist is just going to burn those with the ADSs and with the Wamai discs and keep himself cooked inside Office, getting all of his work done. Mag isn't peeking the window.
He is spotted out though. There is that pre-placed drone, so Mag's trying to hide. He's trying to be smart about it, but they know exactly where he is, and as soon as they manage to clear out Office, he's going to be falling next, because there's no way he can get out. There comes the grenade, and that is surely going to be caught by one of them. The second one will be tossed in, and he will be trying to rotate back now. Now he's stuck in Sunroom. No way of him to try and get out. As double repel right now on the side of the windows is surely going to be his demise at some point. There we have it. Redson picks him up. And it's another 2K coming down here for Fnatic. However, still, Mentalist is available in the Office. He's still playing around here. And even though Fnatic keeps on trying to contest this side of the map, it keeps on going wrong and wrong and wrong. And it never really seems to be succeeding for them. And yet another frag will be picked up in a second.
Yeah, it seems like Xavier have done their homework very well on this site, but at least Mentalist is able to try and keep himself in. The last bastion of the hold that they tried to develop is unfortunately blown out of a seat and taken out of the arena, and now it is a 4 versus 2 with, well, 4 versus 1. Lusty's off the board too. Stigs is all that is left for pretty frantic Fnatic defense so far on blue, and it hasn't really been able to come true and through for them as of yet. Waiting for the swing onto the bomb chassis on the opposite side, and is actually just going to smoke it out. But with a minute left, there's more than enough time for the other 3 players to, well, do what they're doing now. Put the diffuser down, get the plant in, and get themselves locked on the other side. Oh, too late. Super Onigiri. Well, he's taken out Sticks.
Cannot hammer on it enough. Just forfeit that whole site. Don't go Office. Do not go Sunroom. Do not go Security. Just let them have it. It doesn't hurt, because it hurts when you try and keep it. Just let them have it. Like, this is 3 rounds now where they got completely shut down. Only one buddy they managed to find in those 3 rounds in the fight for those 3 rooms. Just one buddy. I don't mean to say much, but maybe, right? Maybe if you're committing 3 people every round and you're only managing to get 1 kill in 3 rounds, you should be playing it. I know I'm sounding really harsh right now, but it's just like DCH is always there. He's always there. Other players are always there as well. They just manage to take it every single time.
Yeah, but what I will say in defense of Fnatic on that, it's 2 for 2. As in 2 times they've attempted it and 2 times it's been shut down. They are keeping their point rotation hot. If they would have done those 2 attempts back to back and lost them both and then moved on to other sites, we'd be like, okay, they've realized it's not working. So at this point, benefit of the doubt, I think they wanted to just try and see if the strike could work again. It didn't, because Xavier's obviously, you know, as I said a couple times, great intel game from early on, great catch on where they need to be, and great on how they're just able to apply that pressure flat. Xavier have read the book on that hold, and they have, you know, memorized it back to front. They've got it. And you assume you're not going to see it again from Fnatic in their final 2 rounds. They're going to take Kitchen.
They found it.
And yeah, they found the drone, Lusty.
They found it, finally able to pick up on that one. Might hinder their push towards that side a little bit, as they're going to be left without much information now. Might hint at a different kind of push coming out from Xavier as well, who have been, as you said, phenomenal with the drone game so far. Able to get these pre-placed drones in, not just the one in security, but also above these hatches that have been opened up by the defense themselves, or in bookshelves or whatever. You can, you know, you name it and they'll have a pre-placed drone in it. That's almost how it goes. They just know exactly where these members of Fnatic are the entire time, and it makes it so much more easy to go into a gunfight knowing exactly where the player is, knowing exactly whether he's standing up, crouch, or prone, knowing exactly when he would be swinging out, because that's all the information they get continuously.
Mentalist, slow, steady, patient, and utilizing angles. That is Coastline to a degree, but unfortunately it's going to fall away from them. Super Onigiri is still on the tear from the previous round. 5-1. The tear is going to keep continuing as he leads fully into what the aggression of this map can offer. One of the things I said about Xavier so exciting before is how they can be so quick, so aggro, and take teams by surprise. And here, well, it seems like they're living up to that praise. Tex is waiting for the rotation around the front lobby side and seeing if he can keep a little bit of control on the exit of Sunroom. As you said, a room that has kind of been the shining star of all of the takes so far from Xavier. The start of everything, the center of the universe, and, well, potentially the reason that they are 3-1 up.
Really like what they're doing right now, though. They managed to set up all around the sunroom and security, holding it passively, making sure that you can get them if they jump out. But yet again, the double entries here for the likes of Xavier. And they're not going to be stopping here as Napier moves through. We'll be able to get the side pick. That's a smoke gone. We'll be continuing to push here, but no one will be left to find as Mag and Lusty both are offside. Surely soon this will be called out, as now the Prisma will be giving away the position of one of these players. But Lusty, he needs to go for a little bit of an adventurous jump out here, as a plan surely soon will be happening. But just look at how ready DCH is. He's just waiting for that jump out to get into play, and as soon as that happens, he will be able to go for the pickup. Scatman now going for that plant. I believe that is in the service entrance door, and here we have it. The jump out. There's the punish as well. The plan goes down, and 40 seconds for Mag to try and make the impossible happen. But it's a flawless round for Xavier instead, and they will be expanding their lead.
4-1. Xavier sitting quite high and mighty right now, and deservedly so. It seems like they've just brought a level of pace that Fnatic have been unable to match so far. Okay, it's Coastline, I hear you say, as we realise that this is generally an attacker-sided map. Not by a huge swathe or anything, but you gotta look at the pace and the passion that's being applied on these approaches. So far, Xavier have had all of the control of the spaces they need to, and have generally been able to keep a hand over every single member of Fnatic. The only round they didn't is the round that they're able to take, as Magnet slipped through the net and put a bit of aggression. Sorry, just Mag. Mag slipped through the net. Let's tie that round, wreck on what I said, and put it in that perspective of that round from Mag. For me, that motion, being able to escape the ocean that batters against this Coastline of Xavier of Blue, was what took them the round.
It is indeed what won them that round, and the question is, can they repeat that process, or will this time Xavier have learned from their mistakes, and will they be able to go for a bit of a different push? Often we see some pressure coming out from VIP, for example, to get it with the 90, just to make sure that you have these crossfires ready as soon as you want to go for a default plant. You have to make sure that people are not allowed to peek from hookah, they're not allowed to peek from the big bar, And if you're all in Aqua, it's not going to be working out too well for you. So you're going to need a little bit of an adaptation coming out here from Xavier in their setup and attack if they want to be taking this one successfully.
Well, their last time to try and put something on the board before they go for their split, and Fnatic, they found themselves back at the site they were able to take. Xavier, I guess it's weird to be citing this as the possibility for you to learn a lesson, but obviously this was where things went wrong, and as I said before, it started with Mag slipping past. Pre-placed C4 on the entrance, but look at the body there on Lambo door. DCH is on the hunt for the loose man that was able to cause problems last time round, looking across the open door, and the pings are there, but they're just going to wait now. Wait for him to pop up. There is one more Fnatic player inside Kitchen as well, though. So they have a bit of extension. They have the possibility of a trade. It's just Mag's going to try and dig in, hold on for as long as he can, and it's the bullets from the bathroom that actually give a little bit of the game away there. It's not just Mag. Lusty's there too, and DCH, well, there's probably better places for you.
Deed will be going up to his default rappel, I assume. As managed to spot him out right behind the bar, I believe, but the grenade's not following up yet. We'll be opting to go for a different position here, as Max still standing by, as DCH will be joining onto the actual balcony of Aqua. There's still a pre-placed C4, I believe, underneath an office that will be able to take down anybody moving into Aqua. Oh no, actually, never mind. Napier took it out. He's sitting here. He made sure it's safe now. He will be holding it as well, making sure one can go for shotguns, for example, to try and wreak some havoc. And that means that Xavier do have quite some control right now.
Well, they've cleared themselves a pocket, but with all the Fnatic players still standing, it's set themselves in a situation where they've got to try and start taking bodies. They were always quite quick to do it before, and as they burn ADSs and try to blow Stigs out of the bar, he's going to keep hopping and, well, keep himself alive, which is probably the most important moment of this. Napier wants to apply some pressure underneath, but is concerned about the body that's still in Kitchen, as they are consistently Z-pinging. It's just Mag by himself, but with less than a minute on the board, and the pressure starting to come onto site, Xavier need to be the ones that aggress. They need to be the ones that set the tone, the pace, and the movement, and Napier is the only one that can really try and catch and keep some control from the attempted rotate round the back.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Stiggs needs to be picked up as he has two more smoke canisters. That's about 30 seconds. He can try and deny his Scatman now. Will be able to pick up a kill. To lucky that we have a Napier. Will be able to take down Stiggs. Actually smoke on suddenly. And it's all up to Mentalist now to try and stop the default plan from happening, as he is the one playing close. But now we have it. The first kill coming in from Scatman. The instant trade, however, he will be taken down as well. And it's only up to Meg now. No C4 left. Only a shotgun and SMG to try and stop this plant. If he will be hiding himself underneath the default plant spot, Xavier need to be smart about this and just plant on the pool table exactly what they're doing. There's no way he can get an angle from that point, and that means that this one will be going into the after plant situation. Will be receiving a bit of damage as he gets it down into Onigiri, but it is going to be a 1-on-2 situation now. Suddenly, he finds himself into a winnable position.
Fantastic pair of kills there. He had an idea to try and set himself an angle, and he went for something with an SMG that a lot of people would only ever get nothing. He almost pulled off something monumental there, and I guess if I said he was the player that showed up for their round and started it off, he couldn't quite end the one in the same manner. The turn of the half comes with 5-1 on the board. It is an uphill, no doubt about it, for Fnatic, but Xavier so far, I would say a lot of this has been built on preparation. Practice has led to success. Is this something where they know enough about the attack of Fnatic? Do they have enough under their books and belts, and at the same breath and in the same situation? Because Xavier has only been on Oregon, surprise, surprise. Do Fnatic feel confident with the knowledge that the only real collection of VODs they may have could be a little bit out of date and out of favor with the big changes we've had in the meta recently?
There have been big changes indeed, and you see a little bit of it coming out right now. The Ace will be brought by Fnatic. The Melusi will be brought by Xavier. Both those operators will have their impacts. Now, normally the Heart Breacher you will be bringing on a map like Coastline would have been actually Hibana. However, the Selmas can fulfill the same role. You can throw them from a distance, you can just shoot it out if you just want, you know, a small line of sight instead of a full breach. And to some extent, it basically allows you to open up 3 times as much as Hibana would if you would be doing walls only. Of course, Hibana is more effective for doing hatches, as you need 2 Selmas for 1 hatch and only 1 set of X-Skyros for a hatch itself. So they have different specialities. But since you're not really fighting hatches here, all you really need to do is opening up these walls, and that is when Ace comes in.
And that's it. It's angles. The dance that is often played and waylaid on Coastline is all at angles, and Ace allows you to get things like that quad wall, get the Hibana angle too, and have this consistency of the balance of both. Because usually, if you are going for that quad wall push and you've already been able to get care of the electronics, okay, historically you didn't have someone like Thermite trying to get a full breach or Hibana. Now you have Ace where you can just let it tick. There's not a massive amount of intense counter, but it becomes so important if it falls and it forces your smoke player, who is dug in usually on that close corners on the bar bit, to keep themselves alive there. Napier is rotated off. He's actually playing across the slightly longer angle from Hookah to try and long arm those smoke canisters over and maybe see if he can pop ahead as they try and swing into Aqua from the many artistic holes he has smashed into the close wall. But with Mag trying to apply the pressure round from the opposite side of the top floor and looking towards Luggage as the first entrance and exhibit of trying to put bullets in somebody's head, can he get everything packed and put as he journeys towards Aqua?
The question is indeed, will he be able to get an impact? And so here we have it. The Selmas being tossed up. The EMP will be starting things off, and the Selmas will start blowing up this whole one. That basically denies the whole spot where Xavier had so much issue with. They couldn't take out that smoke. They couldn't, you know, clear him out only from below in the last round. Right now, the wall has been completely opened up. The smoke's not going to have as much freedom if he would like to play in that position as he would have on the likes of Fnatic on the defense.
And that's kind of the main point of this. I was going to say, when I said the big meta changes might have been the surprise, okay, it's more of a doubling down inside the meta, but this is a map that is heavily impacted because of the pace that can be applied, sure, and that's stemmed and slowed by Melusi. And at the same time, you're looking at the immediate entrances and those wub-wubs causing problems on the swing and on Hookah, which is often played, and then here on the Aqua side with a little bit of intel from underneath. And as we've seen and said, Ace being able to pop open something that is otherwise just kind of left to the Aether and left to the idea of forcing yourself with a gunfight. Talking of, Red Sun rotates at the worst possible time and is lucky to get out with his life, was holding the angle for just not long enough, and it's one of those unfortunate moments. And with Mag still on the hunt beneath Aqua and looking to try and dig the claws into that roaming player, the 30 seconds, they've got to try and start getting their feet inside. 3 of them stacked on a balcony. Stiggs trying to apply the pressure. They have to make the move sooner rather than later, and they have to dig in, but the canister goes long, too long, and there's a body dropped inside Luggage 2, sent packing as another one falls inside the site. There's a very quick trade as we suddenly find ourselves in a 2 versus 1, 2 versus nobody. Xavier get the last 2 DCH and Scatman, and well, too little, too late, no entry.
You heard me saying, worrying. When I saw 3 people on that balcony, it means there's little to no actual control on the likes of Fnatic. They had 1 person on the balcony on the back, on Hookah window that is just repelled up, and then they had 4 people inside Aqua. Now, if there's 30 seconds left and there's still 3 smoke canisters on the board, you can guarantee that everything will be smoked up. Everything will be filled up with these toxic gases, and Scatman did exactly that. It was followed up by some explosives as well, grenades, impacts, that is, C4s, and managed to get the downs in as we went. And Xavier able to put it up to 6-1 right now, and it looks like they might be able to put up yet another big name down onto the ground as they're here in Coastline. This seems to be the map where they make these, you know, these big names like Giants, and right now Fnatic really crumble, really struggling as they have a really good understanding of this map.
Wow. It's been a bit of a day, I think it's fair to say, for Fnatic so far, and it's, I guess, the heartbreak of that team. Obviously, they've had the troubles of moving towards this league and the pain that came with it, but it kind of shows itself on a mark where it's an aggressive map where statistically Jess was over the moon that it came into the favor, or it was the swinging idea of, okay, this is a great one. They have this history, they have the good play days, they have the possibility of success around in this situation, in this play space. The guys in the analyst desk as well, not just the country folk. Well, I guess there was more country folk. A lot of country folk were happy for Fnatic at the moment that this map came into the pool, and yet we find ourselves 6-1. If they were against a team that didn't have the coordinated aggression of Xavier, maybe it would have been a bit of a different story, but they've got to try and find some of whatever Xavier's had for breakfast right now, and if they can fuel it to a couple of round wins.
Xavier on a map like Coastline is, however, a complete different story, as you just mentioned. It just seems to be elevating everything they do by about 20%, as they always play out of their minds in this map. I don't think I've seen a single map of a console of them where I was like, yeah, they've been slacking. Because they always seem to be bringing something new, or they seem to be shutting down the opponent and the defense so effectively well. And right now, they are one round away from putting themselves up in the best possible position after this matchup could be done. Because keep in mind, Phase 1 is about to end. This is their last matchup for Phase 1, and that means closing it with a win is always better than with that loss, because that points are going to be distributed here today. Points are going to be distributed for the top, well, 6 in the end to decide who would be going to the APAC finals in December, but also for the November major, because, you know, that's how APAC works. Swiss book holds a lot of points, 2 phases. It's too much to sum here.
Too much, too soon.
Too much.
And, well, a minute 20 left on as they try and start to apply the pressure towards this dug-in corner. A big burn of utility is the cost of getting your foot into the door of this little split entrance on Ruin's side, and, well, it's a cost you got to spend. Unfortunately, it comes at the cost of Mentalist. You saw a lot of those air jabs go down, but now you've seen Nomad go down too. That is a big concern for the flank push, and they try and force their way in through split, but Super Onigiri, well, he is still rolling through. Takes care of Lusty, and Tex finds himself holding a long angle and hoping somebody drifts a little bit too close in. But for all the compliments given to Xavier's aggression, they haven't really overshared, overspent, and overstretched themselves. They know when to hold, when to push, and when to try and double down. And at this moment in time, well, they're playing a bit of a patience here as they wait for more blue bodies to set themselves up. Mag on the far side, looking for a luggage clear and looking to see if they can get some revenge for the concern about the rotation around the back stairs, which cost Nomad her life. But with only 30 seconds, and Stig's now off the board too, there's only 2 of you, and you've got to try and do some heroics here to pull this back into any hope. Oh no, it's over with a flawless Xavier with a 7-1. And precious points dropped for Fnatic in a game that they need to go and probably do a little bit of going back over on.
Fnatic went, oh no, it's Onigiri here. He managed to completely step up in that round, and indeed they are leaving some precious points. I was hopeful Fnatic was going to be able to enter the top 6 after their start off in the stage in this phase, but it might not be as well as they've hoped it to be, because Xavier are here today with yet another almost flawless run on Coastline, a map that they really seem to have perfected.
That's it, and I think a lot of the compliments have to be given to the way Xavier held that map. Their takes were great, couldn't compliment their information and control game enough. Everything seemed really well thought out, well rehearsed, and well played. And in the guns of Fnatic, although they tried to hold on to Office as much as they wanted to, it was unfortunately a bad day at the aforementioned room. So let's head over to the desk and see what else they have to say about it.
Thanks so much, Fluke Cap. We are indeed back on